So now what we're going to do is create a new Python app. Go ahead and create an empty directory somewhere and just put two things in it. Put in your main.py, which will just be your Python script that we're using to populate our spreadsheet, and put in that JSON file that we generated earlier. So okay, so we've imported GSpread, and before I even continue, all of the code that we're going to be using in this tutorial is linked in the description below. So go ahead and click on that, and that way you don't have to type everything out again, although I recommend you do. There's some parts of this that are just easier if you copy and paste. So click that link in the description below and copy and paste some of the code in. So what I just did is I imported something that will let me use this JSON file as credentials. And okay, so before we start coding, let's think about what the end goal of our project is. We want to populate our names column and our emails column using our Python code. So let's start with just creating a list of emails, and let's create a list of names, and then we can fill these with some dummy items. Okay, cool. Now, this is some of the code that I was saying is easier to just copy and paste. Again, it's in the description, but this is just some authentication code. You don't need to know too much about what it does. It basically takes your JSON file that's right here, and let's rename it actually to credentials.json. And it authorizes this code to act as the account that we shared our Google spreadsheet with earlier. So now we have permission to actually use the spreadsheet. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is actually create our spreadsheet. So let's just create a spreadsheet equals client.open. And what's our spreadsheet called? It's called email subscribers. So just go ahead and put this in. At the end of this tutorial, I'm going to show you a bunch of different ways you can open spreadsheets, as well as the different tools GSpread offers. But right now we're going to use client.open. Next, we're going to create a worksheet. So a worksheet, if you're not familiar, is these sheets that we can just add tabs into. So we're going to just create a full tab. And we're going to call it email subscribers. And how many rows and how many columns do we want? Well, since it's going to be filled with names, we want it to be as large as the emails list, as well as wide as 2, because we want 2 columns. Okay, so now we just need to think about logically how are we going to fill our spreadsheet. Basically, the way you can add an item to a worksheet is using update_cell, and you can just put in, for example, row 1, column 1, and then hi. So we want to fill every single item in column 1 with the names, and every item in column 2 with the emails, and each row represents a new name or email. So let's loop through. What we're looping through is just the rows, because the columns we already know names is 1 and emails is 2. So let's loop through. And we start at 1 because the rows start at 1. And we'll go up until we're out of emails. So we're looping through all of the different emails, or the indexes of the emails. And for every single one, we're going to do worksheet.updateCell. In row is going to be whatever's changing, because the names and the emails are changing. And column is just going to be 1 for the names. And for the emails, we'll just make it 2, right? So now we're looping through and we're updating our cells. So now what we can do is probably just click run, and let's just hope there's no errors. Project finished. And now look, there's a new tab that says email subscribers, and we have, oh, all right, so it looks like there's a bug because we only got 2 items from our list instead of all 3. And you're probably going to face similar bugs because it's hard to visualize Google Sheets data while we're just coding. So, you can try a few things. For example, look at your loop and notice that we're only looping through 2 items because we're starting at 1 and we're stopping at 2, which is the length of emails. So we should be stopping at 3. But if you do that, you can't reference the 3rd item because this is an indexes. So you can only reference the 2nd index in a list of 3, right? Because this is index 2, this is index 1, this is index 0. So we should probably subtract 1 from here and add 1 from there. So just made a few changes. Let's go ahead and delete this spreadsheet and try to see if we solve the bug. It could be I missed something again, but hopefully it's fine. So it's actually kind of interesting to watch the spreadsheet be made in front of you. So I don't know if you saw that, but the items just appeared. And there you go. There you have it. Those are all 3 rows just added into the spreadsheet.